Thursday night football. Packers and the Lions. What they call this game, Miracle in Motown. Was it a
Is that what
miracle?
the Packer fans call it?
That's what I've been seeing in the highlights. Maybe it's been a Wisconsin only highlight I've been seeing it. Potentially. It's
Maybe.
apparently what it's being called and everything.
Miracle in Motown. I
Yeah.
like it. You
I
just
like it
call it
too.
the Motown Miracle kind of rolls off the tongue anyway.
Yeah. Well, either way. Let's
Yeah,
not dwell on
okay.
it too much here. Um,
Why the
ultimately,
hell not? It's the play of the fucking game.
well, okay, yeah, let's dwell on that a little bit. Um, yeah, play of the game, potentially play of the week.
Play of the week happened on Thursday night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is coming off of the previous Monday night with the kick six, which I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, okay, like that was the thing, but yeah, this play kind of overshadowed that big time after Monday night. Uh,
At least like it just kept it's like it kept going. Just kept rolling.
yeah, it was crazy. It was really crazy, and we've all saw it now. I mean, there's highlights everywhere when it after it happened and
Yeah.
everything. It was the talk of the town, next Friday and everything. But uh, I thought the
I know a
most
lot of people that had already quit watching that game.
true.
A lot of
Yeah,
people quit watching that game.
yeah, that's
They'd
true.
heard about it and they were like, "Damn, I missed it."
Right.
I'm like,
I
"That's
was
why you
very
don't watch
fortunate
it
I got
all."
to see it. I was very fortunate because I
Yeah.
almost gave up on it too. I really did. And but I mean, I don't ever. I stick through an entire Packer game at least. Like, no matter how
Right.
shitty
Well,
they're
that's what
looking.
he's saying. You almost gave up on it. Didn't do it though.
Well, I almost wanted to give up on them after the first quarter. I even said that to you. I'm like, there's no point of playing the rest of this game
Yeah.
out. They already lost. 17-0 at the end of the first quarter. And, well, I was wrong on that. They definitely came back and everything. And
Yeah. I did.
there's a few important pieces that people aren't talking about. Because, I mean, we can talk about the shit that people have been talking about all week about it, which you already heard
Sure.
everything. Let's talk about the pieces that people aren't talking about. Number one, they interviewed Caldwell after the game and said, you know, his biggest criticism was, why didn't you bring Megatron in there as a defender? Like, that was the biggest thing. Like, when you got a Hail Mary play, when
Yeah.
you know you're doing a Hail Mary, you bring in your tallest, biggest guys to swat the ball down, and their biggest player and was the best hands as Megatron. Why are you not putting Calvin Johnson in there to try to deflect the ball away as a safety? And
Right.
Caldwell's response to that was, I did not know Aaron Rodgers could throw the ball that far.
Okay.
Which is kind of hilarious in a way. Like, basically, he said, we lost the game because I under appreciated how good Aaron Rodgers could be. you know,
Yeah.
which
How big of an
honestly,
arm he had, I
yeah,
guess.
well, at least, but honestly, the way Rodgers played that entire game, it was easy to, misjudge him. It was easy to think that, oh, Rodgers isn't going to pull this
Yeah.
off.
He did not have a great game.
No, not at all. The Packers in general weren't having a great game. Maybe defensively, they're having a pretty decent game. Decent game. But, like,
So,
offensively, they couldn't do shit. So of course it was easy to try to misjudge that, but that was his only response. He was like, I did not know he could throw it that far. I don't think anybody knew Aaron Rodgers could throw it that far after that play. Or before that play, I should say. No one thought that Aaron Rodgers could have had that big of an arm on him. But now we know, I suppose. Uh, the
yeah.
biggest thing I think Lions fans have to say about this was the face mask penalty on Aaron Rodgers. You know, was it a face
The,
mask?
the finger.
The finger mask and everything.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna flat out admit that no Detroit fan is gonna watch a homegrown Wisconsin boy tell you if that was a face mask or not. No one's want to hear what my opinion is. This is what I'm gonna say about it. Even if it was a bad call, that is no excuse for the Lions to give up 20-point lead.
There you go.
There you go. I
Dropping the
don't.
hammer.
That is a hammer, right there. I don't care if that was a bad call. Okay, then I'll give you that they had a bad call. But that is not a good enough excuse that you gave up 20 points to lose the game. You were
Uh,
20-0 at the third quarter. 20-0. I mean, even if Packers got a fucking field goal at some point in the first half, that you still would have been screwed, or at least tie the game and go into overtime. But that's not a good enough excuse. I don't give a shit. That's not a good enough excuse that you're gonna blame it on a bad call.
so, considering the events of this week, how do you feel about the Packers' shot at winning the division now?
Vikings losing against the Seahawks. Packers beating the Lions
By the skin of their teeth.
by the skin of their teeth. You know what? This is gonna go a little bit into my third point.
Okay.
I think by Packers winning the way they did, it gave the Packers a giant morale boost that they desperately needed. If I've been saying this for weeks now, Rodgers looks bad, right? There was speculation that he was injured. There's no speculation that he's injured anymore. He's not in any type of injury report by any means. I still think he was in a slump. I think it was a mental thing. But if he needed anything to get himself out of that slump, that play was the play to finally break him out of it. To say, you know what, I got confidence now. We can do this. I have that confidence. The only bad side of that, it doesn't kind of matter how much confidence Aaron Rodgers and the whole Packers organization might have. You know what's going to hurt them the rest of the season? 4 of their starting offensive linemen are out. And to
Ouch.
further prove that, look at the last play of that game that nobody's talking about. The Lions had a 3-front defensive stand. They had 3 guys against 5, and 2 of their defensive players got to Rodgers. He should have not been scrambling out of the pocket that play. There should have been 0 scrambling at
It's actually
all.
a really good point.
But
Those are really
2 defensive linemen broke 5 of the Packers' offensive linemen. That's bad. That's really fucking bad. So, you know what I'm seeing a lot the rest of the season? Scrambling Rodgers. Rodgers is going to be scrambling out of the pocket left and right. And you know what? He just turned 32. You shouldn't be having Rodgers scrambling that much anymore. Not he could before, but not anymore. You shouldn't. He should be a pocket passer right now, and they're gonna rely on him. They're gonna rely a lot, and I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna have to do with it because you got a giant morale boost, and I give the Packers that. And coming from a guy from Wisconsin, hell yeah, that was fun to watch. That was fun as hell to watch. That was one of the best endings to a football game I've seen in a long time for the Packers. But I'm scared about that offensive line. I'm super scared about that offensive line. If you can't stop 3 of the Lions defenders, how are you going to stop a good defensive line? A better defensive line, I should say.
You can say good.
Yeah.
They're not good. So
It's scary.
okay. So what is this? This is the Lions' momentum is over. The season's over.
Yeah.
For the record, I thought that penalty was pretty borderline myself, but they're gonna call it. You just I wasn't surprised. You know what I mean?
When it's the quarterback, they're always going to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Except that time they didn't call that one that cost y'all that playoff game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about
Oh,
that. Thanks,
man.
jackass.
Oh man.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
This is what we do. We remind ourselves of our team losing, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? And
Yeah.
I'm going to even talk shit a little bit about this. As much as the Lions want to talk about that borderline penalty, man, you can't complain too much because there was a lot of defensive pass interference that the refs were not calling. I mean, you talked about in the Saints video about the 12-man being at Carolina. Yeah. Holy shit, was there a lot of defensive holding that no one seemed to call. Nobody wanted to call that shit. and it was pretty bad. It was pretty damn bad, and that's not. I'm not gonna say much against the Lions themselves. I'm saying that's bad officiating again.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
if the Lions want to complain about bad officiating, you guys got away with murder with how much defensive holding was going on in that game. That was not called. So again, you had a 20-point lead and you blew it. It's not a good enough excuse.
There you are. You're getting lectured by a Wisconsin boy. How does that make you feel, Detroit fans?
Please don't kill me.
Dude, I was in like the Detroit airport and I thought I was gonna get more just that shady.
Really?
Yeah.
I've actually never been to Lower Michigan. I've been to Upper Michigan. I love it up there, but never Lower Michigan. So,
I'm actually just making a little bit of a joke, but
ha, ha,
uh,
ha, ha. You know what? To answer your original question though, how do I feel about the standings with the Packers?
yeah. How do
Think
you feel?
I think the Packers can still win the division, but like maybe with a 10-6 record.
I think the division's gonna come down. The Vikings and the Packers play each other, right?
Last game of the season, yeah, that's true too. I think
I
whoever's gonna
think
win a
that's gonna
division,
decide the division.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be at Lambeau too, so it should be good at Lambeau in January versus the Vikings. That'd be good. It'd be really. It's gonna be on par with Arizona and the Seahawks going at it last game of the
Yeah.
season. So I'm excited for it. Um, a little bit nerve wracking that that's might be what it comes down to, but I'm excited for it all the
Even
same.
more at stake, really, than Arizona and Seattle, because you got
Yeah,
both teams gambling, and more than likely Arizona's not gonna
because
make.
honestly, whoever loses that game, not only do you not win the division, but you might not even make the playoffs. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's really scary. It truly is.
So about wrap this up here.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. I'm scared for the
All right.
Packers, to be honest. I really am. I'm worried. I'm super worried.
I'm excited. We're getting into crunch time. I know my team's out of it, but
Yeah,
woo,
I am excited for the playoffs coming up. I'm excited for the. There's a lot. There's a lot coming up, and
yeah,
I'm really excited
yeah.
who's going for the playoffs. And I'm. It's like a Christmas present, waiting to be
All
unwrapped.
right.
Yeah, it really is. So with that, let's wrap it up. As you're mentioning. And, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can leave us your own comments below about what you feel about the Packers and the Lions. If you agree, disagree, and or if you didn't notice these certain things that came up during the game. We didn't dwell too much about individual statistics, but honestly, there wasn't much to say. So, this is good.